Good
All right.
evening.
Y'all can hear me
Welcome to
now?
the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
Oh no, you're doing the show.
I'm about to give a really unpopular opinion, and I'm sure it's going to be especially unpopular amongst women.
I'm Gray Mars. Break a record by being with 100 men in one day. And right after she was done, she recorded a documentary.
I'm a vegan weed. Call yourself fresh and wear the same weak ass turtleneck on every show. Goddamn. Then we got goddamn the Sudanese Sambo. Bruh, man.
And I'm Enzo.
Bringing up in my lives is they're like, oh well, he's violating the Constitution by having a meme coin and him making money off it in office and everything like that. I was like, if that was the case, like there would be lawsuits up the ass and impeachment inquiry.
I'm skeptic. Like I always say, don't let anybody trample on your constitutional rights.
I'm Mia. That's not a correct power dynamic in my mind. Typically, the people that are trying to be removed are not in control. That's why they're easily being removed.
The government, states, they start putting these RICO acts on Diddy, all of these guys, and try to put it on these ongoing criminal organizations. I ain't never seen the government put a RICO act on the KKK.
Which happened? Come on, man. You gotta acknowledge this. This is the problem that I have with elders like you, because you fail to acknowledge that this stuff has happened.
If we sit there and be old school, we gonna miss the boat. You know, a lot of this kids 19 years old buying houses with Bitcoin, buying Maserati.
Wow.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Described him as one of the most dangerous men on the face of the earth.
Welcome to the Man Cave. Welcome to the Man Cave. I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Nora Christine.
I'm Mia.
I'm Enzo.
I'm RJ.
I'm Annika.
I'm 85 Slim.
For sure. So there's a ad going around, and people are saying it's racist. So let's see if you guys think if it's racist or not.
They're passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney, Casper Keynes.
So she said her genes are blue, and they said that she was basically talking about her genes as being white. Annika, have you seen this ad? Have you heard about it? So did you think it was racist?
Yeah, I've definitely seen that ad. It's all over TikTok and people are talking about it. And I do feel like it is a racist dog whistle. I think that if you know anything about sort of the history of institutionalization and like disability in this country, you know that talk about genes when it comes to blue-eyed white people is kind of a very loaded ad, I would say.
Okay. RJ, as you know, the guest, RJ, Slim, everybody, RJ always supports us in the chat. Did you think that this ad was racist?
I don't think in any way this video look racist any way. I think there is some soul messages in it, but I really can't see it. How is this racist? I can't see it personally.
Okay. Mia, I know you say you never talk about race, and you stay on top of all the topics on TikTok. Was the ad racist?
I mean, people are gonna, it's all about perspective. If people look for racism everywhere, they're gonna see racism everywhere. If you look at this ad and you see it as racist, that's on you. I've been wearing American Eagle jeans for over 20 years. I mean, I'm not gonna not buy these jeans. Those are half the jeans I have. I mean, objectively speaking, she's a beautiful woman. She does have good genetics. I mean, we're not gonna sit here and not call a spade a spade. American Eagle actually about 5 years ago ran a similar ad with a very curvaceous Black woman, and she had beautiful jeans as well. So, I mean, people are being a little bit disingenuous and ridiculous because the ad from 5 years ago was very similar, and she was a beautiful, voluptuous, dark-skinned Black woman, and she was beautiful, and she had great jeans too. I think people are ridiculous. If you don't want to wear the jeans, don't wear the jeans. But their stock went up 10%, so the fact that we're even having this conversation is getting them paid. Literally, their stock went up 10%.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up. So, Nora, do you feel like racism or anti-racism is a good marketing strategy?
No, I don't. I mean, for me, nobody in the hood wears these jeans. Everybody wears Fashion Nova. Everybody used to wear Rockaware. Like, so to me, I don't really care about that. I think if you're looking for it to be racist, it's racist. I personally don't know anyone that wears American Eagle. Me personally, I don't know any person of color that does. So I really don't give a damn. I think it's a big nothing burger. I think conservatives are using it as a talking point, and I think liberals are as well. It's another race baiting thing right now.
So Gabrielle said we need more YT people on. So Enzo, you got to speak for the YT people. How do they feel about this?
Man, I don't know why they gotta be dragging my girl through the mud. Come on, I love her. That's like the love of my life right there. Um, this is just ridiculous because I'm seeing that it's from the left. Sorry, the left. I'm going to shit on you. Is saying that this is eugenics, that they're promoting Yahtzee ideology because she's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman. I was like, it's literally about genes at the end of the day, guys. And like Mia said, they've ran the same commercials before and nobody gave a shit. What if it was like Megan Fox, who has like dark hair and dark eyes? Would we be saying that's racist too? Just because like she doesn't have blonde hair and blue eyes. And then it's just my whole what I've been hearing about it and what I've been hearing from people is just hating on women. I thought it was women empowerment. Like you're supposed to be happy for women and lift each other up, not break them down. And it's like literally just a group of women hating on a woman for political gain and trying to make everything political. At the end of that's what I see, and I think it's just another thing to divide us in this country at the end of the day, guys. That's what I'm seeing.
Slim, Mr. Racism doesn't exist. So, like, do you feel like this was a marketing ploy or it was just a good joke? Because to me, like, I was in marketing. I know you're a business owner. And for me, like, this is either like the best thing or a nightmare because you're trying to get the best results for marketing. Whoever this marketer was, they accomplished something for the company because, like Mia said, the stock rose up 10%. So what do you think?
I believe whoever the marketer was is right on point. He knew exactly what to target to get people talking. Everything is racist compared to a lot of people in this country. Doesn't matter what it is. I don't think the ad was racist per se. I don't see any racism in the ad. It's just a white girl wearing jeans and she said what she said. And I don't believe in that stuff because I'm a guy that shops at Buckle. I'm a black man that shops at Buckle. So if I talk to any other black man, they'd be like, man, how you shop at Buckle? That's for white people. But I make it look good. You know what I mean? So I don't care about all that racism stuff. It doesn't matter to me. They're going to make money based on the emotions of certain people who believe in racism. I don't believe in racism. I don't let it basically take over my life. So that's how I live it.
For sure. And there's also racism or perceived racism with this mass shooting that happened. And we talked about this a little bit last night, but now there's a lot more information.
Are we moving on from that topic? Because I don't feel like I had a chance to really respond And I feel like there really needs an intersectional lens. You can't just look at it solely through the lens of racism. That's not my issue with the ad. And I would also argue a Black woman doing that ad is equally problematic. The issue is ableism. And the average person in America does not scientifically literate to understand how genes connect to race, which is not at all. Like, people don't actually understand genetics enough for this to be a marketing ploy other than to play on people's scientific illiteracy.
For sure. So we'll talk about a mass shooter. We'll go to the next topic. Play this video.
Morning, authorities say they know the identity of the man behind a deadly mass shooting in the heart of New York.
Pure evil came to the heart of our city.
Authorities say the man in this photo is 27-year-old Shane Devin Tamura of Las Vegas. They say he's the man seen here walking towards 345 Park Avenue in Manhattan last night. In his hand, an M4 rifle.
The shooter entered the lobby, turned right, and immediately opened fire on an NYPD officer. He then shoots a woman who took cover behind a pillar and proceeds through the lobby, spraying it with gunfire. He makes his way to the elevator bank, where he shoots a security guard.
Officials say the suspect, wearing body armor, then went to the elevator where a woman was getting out. He allowed her to get away unharmed. He then rode to the 33rd floor to the offices of Rudin Management, the owner of the building. There he allegedly walked the floor, firing rounds, striking and killing a woman, before police say he turned the gun on himself. Police releasing this image of the weapon. Workers inside the 44-story building were told to shelter in place, some using this office furniture to barricade a door.
We heard multiple shots go off in quick succession from the first floor, and a lot of us just rushed into the room. Some went out in the back door, out onto the street. Other people, including me, we ran into the conference room and then eventually barricaded the tables across the doors and just stayed still.
Police in tactical gear rushing in as terrified employees rushed out, their hands in the air. Some later embracing loved ones, grateful to be alive, while officers outside were seen here performing CPR on a man. In all, 5 people were shot. 4 were killed. 1 man was left in critical but stable condition. The NYPD officer killed was 36-year-old Diderul Islam. He was off-duty working security for the building. He leaves behind 2 young kids and a wife pregnant with their 3rd child.
He died as he lived, a hero.
Officials say the shooter arrived in the city just hours earlier after driving his BMW across the country. In his car, authorities say they found a revolver, ammunition, and medication. Police overnight descending on his home in this gated community in Las Vegas. Police there are telling the NYPD that Tamura had mental health issues but did have a license for his guns. An investigation into a possible motive is underway as authorities question why the office building, which also houses the NFL headquarters and multiple financial firms, was targeted.
So, Nora, I know you got a clip, so you've been following this story closely. Has there been any breaking news, or does that just about sum it up?
Well, I think the misinformation regarding this shooting was massive. And this is why I don't follow mainstream media. First, they said he was a white man. Then they said he might be black, it was like, then they tried to say he was like a pro-Palestinian person. And I mean, it was really ridiculous. They were just throwing everything at the wall and see what sticks, when really what it boils down to is the poor guy has a brain injury. And I'm not justifying what he did by any means necessary, but nevertheless, this is what I've been saying for the past year. NFL is modern day slavery. The NFL abuses these men. They have these brain injuries. They don't take care of them after. They overlook a lot of their concerns. And I think we're seeing an exploitation of that. And this is why he did what he did. Now, is that solely the reason? No, I'm not justifying him for doing that. But that's the bigger issue that they're going to try to gloss over and miss the point of, to focus on other things in this country like gun control and things like that, when we're missing we do have a mental health crisis, number one. And number two, these guys in playing football, they're getting these head injuries and no one's taking care of them. And we really need to look into more of that and making sure that they're being taken care of.
Mia, you're a bit two-way person. If you don't know what two-way means, that means it's for gun rights and gun ownership. Do you feel like, there needs to be more control over weapons because they basically said in New York he couldn't purchase the gun, so he had to go somewhere else. So how do you feel about that?
Well, I feel like that almost. So I am very 2A. I'm pro 2A. That is our Second Amendment. We do have the right to bear arms. That is what separates us Americans from other countries, is the fact that we can protect ourselves against each other, but also against our own government if need be. And to be honest, New York's gun laws will be looking a lot different because they lost a Supreme Court case because the Supreme Court told them that they are infringing on their own constituents' rights in that state. But I digress. To be honest, a mental health problem is a mental health problem. The British have the same level of violence there. They just use knives because they don't have access to guns. They also, too, have a mental health problem. The gun isn't the issue. The issue is this man was very ill and he had what we could surmise was CTE, potentially. If somebody wants to commit a crime, they're going to commit a crime. They're going to utilize whatever they have within their means, whether it's a knife, whether it's a gun, whether it's a club, a machete, whatever. They're going to use what they have. So we can't really blame a gun when it's a person that's mentally ill behind it. We got to take care of the people.
Okay. Annika, do you feel like, there's too many mass shootings in America? We have to change something, that this can be changed? Or do you just feel like, it was mental health crisis? How do you feel?
Respectfully, I went into this podcast in good faith. I was told there would be one topic that wasn't the topic we began with. It seemed like that was a disarmament tactic. That feels dishonest to me. So I'm going to excuse myself because I don't want to be on this platform.
Okay, bye-bye. God bless. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.
Okay, then.
No way. Did this really happen in real life? No way.
That just happened on live, yo.
Yo, we were
Everything's
nice.
about race with the liberals, and this is why no one takes racism seriously, because it's all about race. Everything is about race in America. It's all racism, and we were being
believe that.
racism against her, and she's white adjacent, but we were still being racist.
Oh my God.
Enzo, how do you feel about it? Go ahead, Mia, my bad.
I was going to say God bless to her. May she have the date she deserves.
What topic was she talking about? The main event?
Yeah, because we were talking about.
Oh, okay.
Because you didn't give her the list of topics, but I don't see what was wrong. We let her give her point. We allowed her to circle back. We usually don't do that. So, I mean, I don't know. And I actually was going to add to say I agree with her point. I got where she was coming from. But for me, I think that this is a race baiting thing. And I even said both sides do it. So I don't know why else she would have felt uncomfortable.
That's a Kodak moment. That'll be.
Yeah, we're gonna have to definitely flip that.
Yeah, clip that.
Enzo, what do you think?
So when it comes down to the shooting at the end of the day, just based off of the video that you played first, that they said he walked in there with an M4. It's not an M4. Gray, you know this. An M4 is a military weapon at the end of the day. An AR-15 is not an M4 because it cannot fire fully auto. So let's be honest, NBC. Stop pointing it the way that you want to point it, because we know your constituents, the Democrats, want more gun control at the end of the day. This is, like I said last night, I'll go into a little bit more tonight. The problem in America is not the guns at all. I have 3 of them within a arm's length of me. None of them have jumped off my desk or out of my safe and harmed anybody. They never will. The gun is not the problem. It is the person behind the gun. I advocate for stricter background checks, 100%, mental health checks, 100%. I lived in Florida where it's literally the Wild West. You could have anything and everything you wanted at the end of the day, as long as you can pass a background test. I think there should be mental health checks, even when you have your weapons, every X amount of years, every 2 to 5 years, to show that you're still mentally sane to still have weapons at the end of the day, because it is a privilege that can take somebody's life away in the snap of a finger that you're holding in your hands, that you're keeping on your side, that you're keeping in your home. If you can show that you are proficient with it, that you know how to lock it up correctly, that you can keep yourself safe with it, by all means, everybody and anybody should have one with the mental health backgrounds at the end of the day. I'm somebody who advocates for that because I go to therapy once a week, every single week, because not everybody needs help at the end of the day. Everybody's got their own mental issues going on. It might not be to the extent of CTE or any other mental illnesses or anything like that, but everybody needs help. That's why I advocate for mental background checks and mental checkups for anybody that has 2A, because the number one unaliver in America is self-induced unalivings at the hands of firearms. We can prevent that if we give these people the correct resources to help themselves. So gun violence goes down. So mass shootings go down. The simple answer is, let's just take everything away. Let's just take it away. That's not what the Second Amendment stands for. No, that's the cheap option because they don't want to help. And this goes for both sides of the spectrum, Republican and Democrats at the end of the day. Nobody wants to fund this. Nobody wants to pay for it. So that's what I advocate for. That's absolutely what should happen at the end of the day when it comes down to 2A, in my eyes.
Well, lots of y'all brought up CTE, so I'm gonna play this video. Have RJ and Slim respond about the CTE.
Study my brain. Those are the words that were scribbled on a piece of paper by this person. He opened fire inside a New York City office building, and that shooting left 4 people dead, including an NYPD officer. 27-year-old Shane Tamara from Las Vegas appeared to have targeted the NFL headquarters on Park Avenue in Manhattan, but he went to the wrong floor. But that did not stop him from opening fire, fatally shooting 4 people before turning the gun on himself. Police say that he was found with a note claiming that he suffered from CTE, and this is actually part of that note. Now, Tamara has a documented mental health history and played football in high school. And in the 3-page scribbled letter, he reportedly accused the NFL of covering up the dangers of CTE and even wrote, "I'm sorry," right there. So what is CTE? It's a brain injury that develops in people who suffer repeated impacts to their head. It causes neurodegeneration, which is when the nerve cells in the brain are permanently destroyed, and that damage can cause changes in behavior and mental abilities like memory problems, trouble focusing, mood swings, and aggressively violent behavior towards themselves and others. The major issue for treating CTE is when a doctor can diagnose it. It can only be diagnosed during an autopsy when the brain tissue is examined under a microscope after the person is dead. Now, this is probably why the Manhattan gunman shot himself in the chest rather than in the head. Typically, the illness is linked to football players. Now, since 2008, Boston University's CTE Center studied 376 former NFL players' brains, and out of that 376, 345 of them were diagnosed with CTE. And now some of the players that have been diagnosed with CTE include Aaron Hernandez, Terry Long, and Philip Adams. All of them took their own lives. Hernandez and Adams even killed other people. The NFL has come under fire for downplaying the connection between football and CTE. They did implement new rules, including making it illegal for players to ram other players with their helmets. The NFL has independent neurologists who are meant to evaluate players for head injuries, and the game comes to a full stop if a runner's helmet comes off. Now, however, experts say the NFL is not doing enough. They say CTE doesn't happen due to isolated incidents of concussion, but rather smaller repetitive blows to the head over months and years. Plus, players that are starting to play tackle football at a young age have a greater chance of getting CTE. So, could the NFL protect future generation of football players? Or is it like this shooter allegedly claims, still trying to protect its bottom line?
Slim, you're a big NFL fan. Is CTE a problem?
I'm going to say yes to CTE being it a problem. My nephew's in the game. Y'all all know that. I support him to death. What I must point out, and Nora probably going to hate me for this, but I'm going to call on anyone to tell me what NFL team this man played for. I'll wait.
It was from the hits that he took trying out. I think he tried out. He didn't make it. But
Right.
he didn't play.
So at the end
But
of the
he did
day,
it from all the hits he got.
right. So at the end of the day, the media is focusing on something that the NFL had an issue with with this mental situation. But I don't believe this man, I don't believe that was the motive. I believe he didn't make the fucking team. which caused him to go crazy. Excuse my French, damn, I forgot we're on YouTube. But which caused him to do what he did. And yes, it's mental health. It has nothing to do with the NFL. He didn't make it. So you can't blame the NFL. If he played for 5 years and this happened, we have an argument. But bro, you didn't make the team. So let's be honest. You were mad. Period. I don't see any other way out of it because if he didn't play for the NFL, how can you claim the disease? How can you claim that?
For sure. RJ, I think you said in the comments you're not a big sports fan before, but I know you say you go to school for history. So do you feel like history is showing that CTE is being caused by the NFL, being caused by football?
I would say that it's kind of is. I agree with Nora in this because you see a lot of these NFL players go and play and they get hit hard in the head, and if this guy didn't get accepted in the NFL, it still shows like the product of what the NFL like produces, you know, in terms of the playing and all that stuff. And as Nora says, like, and many of you guys said it, mental health is very severe. I don't blame the gun ownership or anything. Like, defend yourself by any means necessary. But mental health is a severe thing, and that the CTE is like for sure an important thing to deal with, especially in the NFL. So if this guy did not get into the NFL and he's mad, then of course he's mad, but it still sparks an important conversation.
Well, I wanna add to that because it's crazy how we could just talk NFL. If that was the case, UFC should be under fire, the boxing world should be under fire, wrestling should be under fire. All of these are contact sports that you can get hit in the head, you can get slammed on your head. Boxing, you get punched in your head all day. Muhammad Ali got the disease from that. But nobody's saying that can be caused by these sports. It's just football with the equipment on, just football. Nobody just thinks that's kind of weird.
That makes sense.
It's not just football. I would say it's all those sports as well. Like, I've seen boxing many times, and it hurts. Like, this is like bloody things, and I think if you're like trained, even if you're trained well and you've gone through all the preparations, it still hurts, and it still can affect you. So I think for players who are into these types of sports, just need to be aware of what they're getting into. Because this is gonna mess them up for the rest of their life.
Right. And my point is, if you're going to do it and blame the NFL for contacts to the head, do it and blame every other contact sport. Just make it an all around board. Don't just blame the NFL. That's where I'm at with it.
I agree with you, son. When it comes down to like football and everything like that, I hold CTE at like a high regard because somebody who is a close family friend of mine growing up to my family is actually my brother's godfather, Junior Seau. Played in the NFL for many years. Started out with the San Diego Padres, or not Padres, fucking Chargers, sorry. Thinking baseball for a second, and played for the New England Patriots. He shot himself in the chest to donate his brain, to study the brain for CTE for the future generations. I remember that like it was yesterday, and that was a part of his suicide note, that he wanted them because he knew that he was being affected by his years in the NFL. That's why I'm speaking on it. I know it's all contact sports, but that's the most notorious one that I know of, and why I hold it at a high regard. And all contact sports just should be held to a high regard to actually save and help out the younger generations coming up, so they don't have to suffer from things like this.
Is that the guy in the movie with Will Smith? Is that the same guy that you're talking about?
I don't remember
that
movie. Oh, okay.
He passed away a long time ago, right?
Yeah, I think it was 2015. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Wait, wasn't? No, sorry, 2012. Sorry, I was a freshman in high school, and I remember it. I remember getting home from school.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Enzo, this is actually the news that you broke yesterday on the new party about the earthquake in Russia. So I'm gonna play this. Well, I guess that's the extent of the damage that they show. Enzo, you broke the news yesterday. What do you think about the earthquake in Russia?
So terrible all around. I mean, it's a freak thing in nature. You really can't prepare for an earthquake. Like I saw that we were sitting here on the live and something came across my phone. I was like, "Whoa, let me look that up real quick." And I look it up. There was two earthquakes that happened. One off the coast of Russia, and then one in right off the coast of Fiji, all around the same time. And supposedly there was supposed to be tsunamis or something that was supposed to hit the East Coast as well as or not East Coast, sorry, West Coast as well as like Japan. So I mean, I think they're scary as hell. Like we had an earthquake up here last year. Like the first time I ever experienced an earthquake, I was up on a roof too. That was scary as all hell. I can't imagine being up that high, but
Yeah.
they're scary.
So you brought up a tsunami. So before y'all respond, I want to play a clip of them explaining how tsunami works. Nor what type of clips is these? No sound?
I don't know then, probably not, but it just shows what it looks like. It's just a good visualization to show how an earthquake can cause it.
Okay, so this basically showing, once an earthquake happens, this is looks like it's a tsunami. So Nora, you want to explain how a tsunami works?
Um, sure. I mean, pretty much, from my understanding, it's caused by an earthquake. And I would like to note that this was the strongest earthquake that the region has had since 1952. It was at an 8.8 magnitude scale, and it caused impact as far as China, I mean, not China, Japan, Hawaii, California, and Alaska. Luckily, thank God, we had no major injuries or deaths. And I want to say shout out to Trump's administration and the states because we had phenomenal responses. I think that they handled things very timely. They ensured that people had notices, they had warnings. So for everyone saying that the cuts and all that with what did they call it? What was the thing that they did all the cuts for? I can't think. With Elon Musk, I can't think today. Doge. That clearly they didn't cut too much because we were able to get these warnings out timely. People got to higher ground. And I think that it was just a great outcome.
Well, I think I got a clip of a real tsunami. Let me see if this works. So Mia, you're like, you know, an adventurer going out to the lake and all this stuff. So how do you feel about saying a tsunami? Is that like scary? Like, have you heard about it? What do you think about tsunamis?
I think anything to do with the ocean is scary. Case in point, I don't spend any time in the ocean. I don't spend no time in the ocean. It is scary. I don't know what's down there. It sketches me out. It is like the one part of the universe we just refuse to explore. That right there is a red flag. I don't spend any time in the ocean. And thankfully, I live at a pretty high altitude. So if there was a major tsunami on the East Coast, it wouldn't affect me. Thank freaking God. They're just inherently very scary. I feel bad for anybody. That's why I wouldn't live on the coast, especially no offense to you guys, but especially down there in Florida, especially in Hawaii. And I used to live in Hawaii for a year. And for that entire year, I was always stressed out. I was like this, white knuckling it the entire time. Like, man, every time it rained, I was like, oh man, is this gonna be it?
Yeah, it could definitely
Ocean is the best.
It could definitely get scary because I heard the last hurricane that hit, I left my house and I saw like boats on the road. So it can get scary. RJ, do y'all get like hurricanes, tsunamis? Do y'all get that in Canada?
No, we don't get any tsunamis. Based on what I know, I haven't heard any tsunami in like on the East Coast or the West Coast, British Columbia, Nova Scotia. Like, of course, there's like hurricanes and stuff like that, but no tsunamis. I'm concerned particularly like for like island countries like Fiji and those, and like my family's from the Caribbean and we get hurricanes and stuff like that. So that is very severe. But like I'm in Ontario, so I'm next to Lake Ontario, but we don't get anything like that severe like that. So we did have a flood in Toronto back in 2013, but that was like one incident, and so. Yeah, but nothing severe like a tsunami.
Well, so basically, the flooding was happening in Hawaii. I just saw Heavens. She's normally on the man cave, so she hasn't heard from one of her friends yet. So here's the flooding in Hawaii.
Yes, now we getting somewhere. Ocean coming to the front door. All right. Plants are being dragged out. Who knows when we'll see those again. All right.
The other place that was affected was Japan, so I'm going to show the flooding in Japan.
に打ち上げられているものとみられます。今回の津波との関連というのは情報が入っていませんけれども、千葉県館山市の海岸、クジラが打ち上げられている様子がわかります。何頭もクジラがいる様子がわかります。映像で見えている限りで3頭のクジラが確認できます。千葉県館山市の映像でした。
RJ, why is the weather getting so severe? Is it climate change?
I believe so. I think it's climate change because we're not we as people are not taking care of the planet, you know, and we don't treat it the way it is. That's why we have so many of these severe storms and floods as it is. Like even in the heat, I never experienced this type of heat than I remember. So I think it's climate change personally.
For sure. Nora, you know a lot about other countries and things like that. Do you feel like this is like an international thing that the weather is changing? Because, you know, we had the Texas floods here, or do you feel like, how do you feel?
Well, y'all not gonna like what I have to say, but I am a Christian first. I think we're just seeing, the end times. The Bible talks about these things: earthquakes, floods, global unrest, and it's pretty clear we're going to continue to see this. So, again, do what you want, do what you may with it. If you're not right with the Lord Jesus Christ, I highly implore you to get right with him and build a relationship with him. That's what I think it simply comes down to. I don't think it's global warming. I don't think it's none of that, because we've seen this. We're just now seeing it in different cycles.
May the power of Christ compel you. Is it the end of times? What do you think?
Y'all
First
laugh.
off, I'm going to Kamal in the chat. Was that rocks or was that a whale when Japan was showing it?
Oh, really? I didn't know that actually is a
That looked
good.
like a
The
whale to
whales are
me.
white. The whales are white for some reason. I don't know
に
why.
打ち上げられているものと見
That
られ
looked
ま
like
す。
a whale.
They're whales.
今回の津
Yeah.
波との関連というのは情
Okay,
報が入っ
cool.
てい
So
ま
we
せ
got
んけ
that
れども、
understood.
千葉県館山市の
But
海
in
岸
Russia, they're white because the white ones came on the shore in Russia.
I did see that. Like the
Yeah.
animals telling us that something was going to happen. I do believe
Yeah.
that kind of. And then to the first clip, bro. That guy, that man is not from Hawaii. Ain't no way. That is a Florida man mentality. Like the ocean is coming to our yard. That's Florida man mentality right there, bro. That was crazy. I don't think it's the end times. To be honest with you, I'm not gonna say it's climate change either. We only know so much about the Earth and its historical patterns with weather and everything like that. How are we to say like these are the craziest storms to ever happen on Earth when we've only been on Earth for what, a couple thousand years, and the Earth's millions of years old? Like that's the way that I look at that. And the Earth is always moving underneath us. That's why the earthquakes happen. Tectonic plates are crashing into each other. So I like I said, I'm not gonna say it's the end times, but when it comes down to the ocean and everything like that, I'm the exact opposite of Mia. I love the ocean. At the end of the day, I grew up pretty much on a boat my entire life. I love it. I just know, and what I was always taught was to never be scared of the ocean, to respect the ocean, because if it's going to take you out, there's nothing you can do about it. There's no way to run from it. There's no way to hide from it. That's my whole mindset with that my entire life. Like I said, I love the ocean. I will go swimming in the ocean all day long. You can drop me in the middle of the ocean and I'll be completely fine.
For sure. Mia. And Mia's thoughts or her thoughts isn't the new party's thoughts. So the conspiracy theories and the things that come around, you put
Please,
that,
please, please, please be careful going into that because with the weather modification, they don't play about that. I'm letting you guys know that from now.
So do you feel like, or do people saying like conspiracies about this, about what happened?
I mean, earthquakes, volcanoes, torrential downpours, flooding are natural occurrences on the planet. We know this, they happen everywhere, literally everywhere across all continents. These are natural occurrences. We also know through historical context and geology that the earth goes through cycles. It heats up, it cools down. It heats up, it cools down. The jet stream does change. And every year, the earth's axis tilts and spins slightly differently, which also changes our jet stream. But we also need to understand that cloud seeding is real. Weather modification is real. I mean, these things, you can't mess with the jet stream in order to make it rain in Dubai and not have ramifications happen across the entire world. So I feel like it's twofold. I feel like cloud seeding, HARP, and natural occurrences converge, and that's why we have such drastic changes in the weather all over the world at this point in time. And maybe we could sprinkle a little bit of get right with the Lord in there too, because it could be all three.
Yeah, it's quite possible. So I want to end it on a funny thought. Well, not funny, but we've talked about this person a lot. So we might as well end with what's going on with him because he got fired today.
Shannon Sharp has been fired from ESPN. This has got to be the most historic 2 weeks for dumb athletes. Shannon just got let go from ESPN after not being there since April because of that entire fiasco with that 19-year-old girl. But wait, there's more.
Uncle got
remember
fired.
I told y'all about Marcus Morris also being in prison for bank fraud. But just when you think it can't get any crazier, Gilbert Arenas just got hit with a federal indictment for operating an illegal gambling business out of his Encino mansion. And he operated it with some crime figure. Y'all slide some of that bread over here, dog. Because, I mean, how are y'all messing up this bad? Now, admittedly, Shannon, he might be He still got his other shows. He gonna be feeling it after that settlement though. But Gilbert, bro, what in the world are you doing? The podcast going well. I'm hearing you was about to get a commentating spot. You already know that's gone. But with those 3 commentators gone, there's only one bit of news that we're all waiting for. Y'all think it's ever gonna happen?
Oh, Enzo, you're a big sports fan. Why are all these athletes losing their money and then having to do crimes to like still live a lavish lifestyle?
Man, leave Unc alone. Like I keep saying, leave Unc alone. I like Shannon. This is heartbreaking. I like him. When it comes down to athletes losing their money, I'm going to point to Mike Tyson and the entourage he had around him. I forgot what was his promoter's name.
Don King.
Don King. Him around him, just letting him blow money and being financially illiterate at the end of the day. That's what it comes down to, regardless whoever you are. Another one that I can speak of is Rocky, the Rocky series. After Rocky IV, Rocky became broke because of Paulie managing his money incorrectly because Rocky didn't know how to do it. When you get this amount of money, you think it's never going to run out. And you just spend. When you should be taking that money, take a percentage of that, put it into somebody you trust not somebody you trust, somebody that's qualified to manage your money correctly so that money can work for you. So when you're retired or whatever it is, you don't got to go to crime and commit crime and ruin your entire legacy. It's terrible. I hate it because I look at sports figures and a lot of them blow their money and do stupid things and end up trying to make more money to get back because they need that money again to live that lifestyle they want. They don't care. They want fast money at that point. So
for sure,
it's terrible.
Mia, I heard you laughing and like you talked about Shannon a few times on here. So what's your thoughts on this?
For me, this is Uncle's karma. This is the man that stood on 10 toes and said he was only going to give his daughter, his full-blooded daughter, $30,000 for her wedding, but retired a 20-year-old OF girl with like a $20 million settlement. That's what you get for being on demon time, dude. This man did not want to help his children. He always looked at them like they were out for money, even though like paying for college and like giving your children the positive leg up is what every parent should be doing. And instead of doing that, he just retired an OF girl. This is what he gets. This is what happens. This is what happens when you're not a family man, when you're on demon time. Karma comes back around. And now there's some young white 20-year-old OF girl never has to work a day in her life, especially if she gets a good financial advisor. She could live off the interest of $20 million alone in a high yield savings account. That's what he gets. This is his karma.
RJ, so I want to ask you, we get a lot of videos, we get a lot of information. What is something that the new party can improve on, or do you have any advice for us?
Maybe my advice, or maybe you guys can improve on. Maybe talk about stuff from different cultures. Like guys can go. I know you guys talk about politics and sports. Maybe you guys can go into more culturally things. Like you can probably do a little review on people on travel vlogs, or maybe you can hear different opinions on whose culture has the best food or who has the best I don't know, you know what I'm saying, but something like culturally speaking, because here even on the panel it's quite diverse. Even I'm Canadian, I'm the only Canadian here, and everyone's American, but even there it's like everyone's diverse. So maybe talk about cultural stuff, like how do a Latino family operate in their household, or how an Italian operate in their household, something like that, you know?
For sure. Well, I definitely appreciate you for coming. Enzo, what's your final thoughts?
So final thoughts. This was a very, very good episode. A little bit different, a little bit of politics, a little bit of current events. different from the man cave. So I liked it. I think it's great. I like Gray. You're good. You're not the best host, but you're a pretty good host. We'll give you that.
For sure.
Uh, like we keep talking about for the last 2 days with the mass shooting in New York. The narratives that their sides want to push need to stop at the end of the day, and we need to come together, because these issues that are happening, like I keep saying, these aren't red versus blue, black versus white, culture versus culture. No, this is a human issue at the end of the day. We need to help. We need to do better. Everybody needs to come together on these issues and not stop politicizing all of this. The same thing with the Sydney Sweeney shit. Stop politicizing the littlest things just to get an advantage or to say that something's going on. That's what I would wish for. That's what I would hope for at the end of the day, and that's what needs to be done. Yeah, that's really all I got for tonight.
For sure. Mia, what's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts would be, if you look for racism everywhere, you're going to find it everywhere. I feel like the best way to combat racism is to be positive, to change your mind frame, and allow more collaborative efforts from everybody. You can't keep looking for negativity and expect to see positivity. It doesn't work that way. So everybody should start changing their mind frame and their mindset to be more positive and to stop looking for negative things in every single space, because that's what you're going to find. It's going to consume you, and you're going to be miserable like the person on the panel that dropped out. I'm just throwing that out there. You can't allow negativity to run your life. There are many beautiful things in the world if you need to step back and think about all the good things that's going on in your life. And I will land with that.
For sure. If you're watching right now, hit that subscribe button and press that notification bell to know when we go live. RJ, what's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts is, well, first of all, thanks for having me on, guys. Awesome episode. And as Mira said, if you keep looking for racism, you're gonna find racism everywhere, right? And I think that Gene commercial was calling it racial is unnecessary, I think. And thoughts and prayers to the shootings. And then just get right with God, get right with other people, and be blessed.
For sure. My final thoughts are, first, thank you, RJ. RJ always supports us in the comments, and it's always nice when somebody that watches the show wants to come on. My condolences to everybody that's going through the stuff, the earthquake with the tsunami, the mass shooting, all that's horrible. And to the girl that came up here, I didn't even know that you were coming here. I just sent the link. I said one topic. Was it to be disrespectful? I definitely would never set anybody up. You didn't respond, so I didn't even think you were going to show up. So that wasn't meant to be disrespectful. But thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you out to the panel, and keep rocking with us. We do this every Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Man Cave.